Hey everybody, Brad from NotAClue Podcast here. If you couldn't tell, you are listening to NotAClue Podcast. As I said, my name is Brad. You're listening here at Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue Podcast. Find us on Facebook, Facebook.com/NotAClue Podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at NotACluePod. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. First name of the channel is NotAClue, all one word. The second is Podcast. We also are on Instagram at NotAClue Podcast. We also have an email, NotACluePodcast@yahoo.com, if you care to do that. We don't get very many emails, and I don't check it frequently, so if you do, I apologize if it takes me a few days to get back to you on that. But anyway, football starts today. So I hope you guys are excited because we are. I mean, there's technically already been one day or one game, but that's okay. We're going to disregard that for a second because the full arsenal happens today, and we could not be any more excited. I wish the other guys were here to actually talk about this. This is basically going to be me running through the NFL season predictions. I am going to lay out what I think is going to happen, whether it's going to come true or not. We can debate this. I would like you guys who are listening, anybody who's listening, I don't care if you're listening through YouTube, if you're listening through Spotify. Oh, we're also on Spotify, by the way. I don't care where you're listening. YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, through the Spreaker app itself. I don't care. I want to debate this because I want you to tell me, oh, no, you're not even close. Because I'm actually going to tell you the records of every single team from worst to first, basically, or however I'm going to do it. Because I want to see how close I am. Every year I try to do this. I get a bunch of it done. But this year I went full bore. And I started Thursday. I posted it on Twitter. I actually put who I think was actually going to win on Thursday. And I had the Chiefs winning that game. And they did. So if you want the proof, you can't say, oh my God, you did. No. I really did. I posted on Twitter the other day before the game started. I even put up fantasy numbers that I thought people were going to do. And I was decently close on Kelsey, and I was decently close on David Johnson. I was way off on Will Fuller. He had over 100 yards. I said he was going to have 3 catches for 54. Watson, I had 3 total touchdowns. He had 2. He did throw the pick. I had him pretty close on the rushing yards, but I was off on Mahomes as well. Tyreek Hill I was off on. Also, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I had 71 yards rushing. He went way over the century mark. I also had him with 2 catches. I think he only had 2 targets the whole game, so can't really go on the right scale there, but I was fairly close. Tomorrow, I will do more of the fantasy stuff before games go on. Or not tomorrow, today. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But today, when the games come on, that's what I'm going to do. So let's get to this here. Again, please debate me. Please send us messages any way you want. All right, we're going to start in the AFC West. In the West, I have the Chargers at 3-13, 1-5 in the division. They will be 15th place overall in the AFC. I have the Broncos at 7-9, 2-4 in their division. The Broncos will be 12th overall in their division. Again, if you think I'm right, wrong, otherwise, again, send me the messages. I have the Raiders in second place in the West at 8-8, 4-2 in the division, 9th overall in the 9th overall in the AFC. Also, remember this year instead of 6 teams, it's 7 teams going to the playoffs. So remember that when this gets down to when we get to the playoffs here. And then I have the Chiefs winning that division. They'll be second overall in the AFC, 5-1 in their division, and a 12-4 overall record. Now let's go to the East here in the AFC. In 14th place overall at 5-11, 2-4 in their division, I have the Dolphins. In 13th place, also at 5-11, 3-3 in the division, I have the Jets. The 6th place overall team in the AFC is going to be the Bills at 9-7. I have them 4-2 in their division. They're actually going to be the best team in that division. The Patriots 11-5, 3-3 in the division. So they'll be 3rd overall. They'll have the 3rd place seeding. All right, in the South, the Jaguars, the last place team in the AFC, they will also get the number 1 draft pick. 2-14, 1-5 in their division. 11th place overall in the AFC at 7-9, 3-3 in the division. The Houston Texans. I have making the playoffs in second place in this division at 10-6 are the Colts, 4-2 in the division. Also 10-6, 4-2 in the division, but fourth overall due to tiebreaker stuff. The Titans at 10-6. So the Titans and the Colts are going to make the playoffs. If you couldn't tell there, the Patriots and the Bills were going to make the playoffs there, and the Chiefs obviously make the playoffs. So the other two are obviously going to be here in the AFC North. 10th place overall at 7-9, which I was actually surprised when I got done. I even went back through and I was like, well, really? Yeah, no, I'm fairly confident they're going to be within this range. 7-9, 3-3 in the division, the Bengals. In 8th place at 8-8, 2-4 in the division, the Cleveland Browns. Also at 8-8, but 3-3 in the division. So the tiebreakers go to the 7 seed overall, who will make the playoffs, barely. The Pittsburgh Steelers. And the number 1 seed in the AFC at 4-2 in the division, 12-4 as an overall record. I have the Baltimore Ravens. Again, do you think I'm pretty close, yay or nay? So I'm going to now go through the AFC playoff picture. The 7 seed will take on the 2 seed, which is the Steelers taking on the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning that game. The 6 seed Bills take on the 3 seed Patriots. I have the Patriots winning that game. The number 4 seed Titans taking on the 5th seed Colts. I have the Titans winning that game. So I have the top 4 seeds, well, technically 2, 3, and 4, but it's the top 4 seeds going at it. I have the Ravens beating the Titans, and then I have the Chiefs beating the Patriots. So it's going to be the Ravens versus the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And I have the Ravens beating the Chiefs. So the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs making it to the AFC title game. Let's go to the NFC now. We're going to start out in the West and work our way just like I did for the AFC. The Cardinals, I have 11th seed overall, 8-8 overall record, 2-4 in the division. So the Arizona Cardinals are that position. Total in 9th place, 3-3 in the division with a 9-7 record, the San Francisco 49ers. The team that's going to be coming in 7th place with 3-3 in the division and a 10-6 record, the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to lose a tiebreaker to the number 3 seed, who's also 10-6, but 4-2 in the division, which is the big tiebreaker, really, is the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. I have at 10-6. I went through their list a couple of times, and I was like, nope, I'm very confident that both of those teams are going to be 10-6. So the one team's going to get screwed and be bumped all the way to 7th place, which coming up next in the East is also going to piss off a lot of people because the 15 seed overall, the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins, they're going to be 2-4 in the division, 4-12 overall record. We are also going to have the New York Giants. They're going to be the 14 seed in the NFC. They're going to be 2-4 in their division, 5-11 overall record. The New York Giants coming in there. Now, this is where I'm going to piss people off right now, especially the intern Kenneth. I apologize, buddy. In the 8th seed, just missing the playoffs due to tiebreaker, 4-2 in the Eastern Division, 10-6 overall, the Dallas Cowboys. That's right. This is where I think I'm going to get a lot of people chiming in here. But I have the Cowboys at 10-6, missing the playoffs. 10-6 is a solid record. That is a very good record. But missing you got to look at it. The NFC this year is super strong with all the teams that have much improved teams. The Niners are going to be good. The Seahawks, the Rams, the Cowboys, obviously, we're talking about them. The Eagles are going to be good. The Falcons are going to be decent. Then you got the Buccaneers and the Saints. Just going through that's 6 teams just there. Not even gotten to the North yet. We're going to have the Packers and the Vikings fighting it out there. Then you have the Bears and the Lions. But anyway. So you got to think, that's 9 teams fighting. That's 9 teams, actually. 9 teams fighting for 7 spots. So some people are going to get left out. I honestly think it's going to be the Cowboys, which is going to create an amazing offseason. This is my prediction again. I honestly think that the Cowboys are going to miss the playoffs, and it's going to make Jerry Jones flip his friggin' lid, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it all the time, and I know a lot of you guys are as well. So anyway, going back to this, the 4 seed is going to be The Philadelphia Eagles at 10-6, 4-2 also. Tiebreaker, they beat the Cowboys, and this is where the Cowboys drop out, and the Eagles get the 4 seed, obviously, because they win the division. All right, we're going to go to the South. The Panthers at 4-12. They're going to be the 16th overall in the NFC. They're going to be the worst team in the NFC. 2-4 in the division, 4-12 overall. The 10th seed in the division at 8-8, 3-3 in the division. The Atlanta Falcons, still a 500 team. They're not a terrible team. With Matty Ice and Julio Jones, and you got Ridley and all the guys there. They honestly are a very formidable team. If it weren't for the 2 teams that I'm about ready to say above them, they would have a much better record and probably squeak into the playoffs, or be like in the Cowboys situation, just missing the playoffs. But at 8-8, they're missing it by 2 games, obviously. But the 6th seed overall, 10-6 for the record, 4-2 in the division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to pause here for a second and talk about them. With their Brady, with the Brady pickup, this is where you're going to see the difference between famous Jameis and Tom Brady, in my opinion. Jameis Winston is a gunner. Like, he'll just boom, 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 boom. He's throwing it. He doesn't care. Tom Brady's at least more methodical. I've never been the biggest fan of him, but let's be honest, he's been a winner. He has been in the NFL, and he knows how to play. And Bruce Arians is going to just go to his strengths and try to accentuate them. Like, he's going to have Godwin and Evans if he's healthy, and then their plethora of tight ends just go hog wild on the routes that he knows that Brady can hit. Defenses are also going to understand that that's coming, but at the same time, defenses knew what the hell was coming against New England, and New England couldn't get stopped. So I'm just going to say that. Again, debate me all you want. Buccaneers 10-6, 6th overall in the NFC. Number 1 in the NFC coming out of the South, 11-5, but only 3-3 in the division. The Saints. That's what I have there. I honestly, I think the big pickup for them is going to be Emmanuel Sanders. Having as long as he is healthy, him on the field is going to make a huge difference. Michael Thomas is going to take an even bigger step up. In fantasy-wise, if you have him in fantasy, you're welcome for an amazing season. I'm predicting him to be by far the number 1 receiver. And I'm talking by 10, 11 receptions and at least 100 yards ahead of the next person. Prediction right there. I've said it. It's on record. Anyway, we're going to go to the North. 13th overall at 5-11, 2-4 in the division. The Detroit Lions. They just don't have enough. They don't. Same with the next team I'm going to say, 12th overall in the NFC at 7-9. My team, the Chicago Bears, 2-4 in the division, I forgot to say. Again, they don't have enough, and their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And honestly, the quarterback's going to be their biggest weakness, and they just need a little bit of an upgrade at the offensive line. I don't want to bash my own team, but at the same time, 7-9 is generous. Like, I was very close to putting them at 6-10, but I was like, nah. I'm like, they're gonna win a couple of these games at home, and I was like, nah, screw it. 7-9 looks good. But anyway, 5th overall, 10-6, 4-2 in the division. The Minnesota Vikings. Giving Dalvin Cook a deal is something that's gonna help this team because now they're solidified at that position, and he is an elite back in this league. And you can't deny that. If you deny that, I want to hear it. Like, I want to know the reasons and back it up with some kind of fact. And you can't say, oh, but he had an injury. No, everyone has an injury. Every single person has injuries in the NFL. If you've played more than 2 snaps, you have an injury. And then the number 2 overall in the NFC, 11-5, 4-2 in the division, the Green Bay Packers. So if you're going through everything that I said before I get to the NFC form of the playoffs, the number 1 and number 2 overall in the entire NFL would be the Ravens and the Chiefs. And then you have at 11-5, you have the Saints, and you have the Packers, and you have the Patriots. So let's get to the NFC part of the playoffs, and then I'll get to my preseason prediction for the Super Bowl. All right, so The 2 seed is going to be the Packers. The 7 seed, the Seahawks. In a very close game, Packers beat the Seahawks. The number 6 seed, Tampa Bay, taking on the Rams. I actually have Tampa Bay upsetting the Rams and going on. And they'll be going against the number 1 seeded Saints. The number 5 seed Vikings take on the 4 seed Eagles. I have the Vikings beating the Eagles. The 2 seed Pack going against the 5th seed Minnesota Vikings. I actually have the Vikings winning that game. I have a hunch on it. That's the reason why I did it. Tampa Bay taking on the Saints. The Saints are going to beat them. It's going to be in New Orleans, and I think that's going to make the biggest difference. And by then there may be fans in the stands, which could make even more of a difference. The Vikings take on the Saints in the NFC Championship game. I have the Saints beating the Vikings. So the 1 taking on the 5. The Saints beating the Vikings. Because there's always usually a wild card team that sneaks into the NFC Championship game or AFC Championship game. And I have the Vikings being that team this year. But I have the Saints beating them. So I have the Saints and the Ravens coming up in this year's Super Bowl. Before I reveal it, I would like you guys to take a giant stab, however you're listening. Take a giant in your head. Who do you think would win the matchup? Ravens, Saints. I want to hear who you think would win. And then at the same time, who do you have in the Super Bowl? Again, send it to us either through the Spreaker app at Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue podcast, to our Facebook page, Facebook.com/NotAClue podcast. Chime in on Twitter at NotAClue pod. Answer below in the YouTube comments. First name of the channel is NotAClue, all one word. Second is podcast. Just so any one of those places, Spotify. If you have Spotify, you can't really chime in on Spotify, but you can go to those pages that I said. Please subscribe and like and blah, blah, blah. And tell us who you think is going to be the Super Bowl teams. Also, who you think would win. My prediction of the Saints versus the Ravens. I have the Ravens beating the Saints in the Super Bowl to conclude the 2020/21 season, or we could just call it the COVID-19 season. However you want to word this. I'm just happy football is back. I cannot wait for the season to really kick off tonight, or today, however you want to word this. You have no idea how much I can't wait for this. This is going to be great. I speak on behalf of the guys on the show, CD and the intern Kenneth, when we say we cannot wait for kickoff, and it's 7 hours or whatever the hell the guy Scott Hansen says on. I almost called him Chris Hansen, the To Catch a Predator guy. Scott Hansen on NFL Red Zone. 7 hours of nonstop action. Cannot wait to hear that, because I love watching Red Zone, because that's the best way for me to do fantasy, to keep up with all the fantasy. Love it. It's the ADD dream that I have, and for sports, I need it. So, that is the predictions. These are my predictions, not the show's predictions. I'm glad that I got to do this for you guys. I'm glad I actually got to talk. It's also getting my chops and getting my foot wet here to bring the show back, but as a solo thing with every once in a while having the guys on the show as well. So if you don't enjoy my voice, I apologize. The witty banter that we have back and forth, I'm sorry. It's going to be here sometimes, and sometimes it's not. So basically, just chime in, just tune in, so that way you're like, oh, it's just Brad. I'll listen for a little bit, see what he's got for the main eventers, and then we'll get off of that. And then sometimes you'll have the intern Kenneth and CD as well. So when you hear them, you'll be happy. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Again, I have the Ravens beating the Saints in the Super Bowl. I'm going to go quickly from worst to first in the AFC. I have the Jaguars, last place. Then I have the Chargers, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Broncos, the Bengals. Oh, no, the Texans, the Bengals. I apologize. The Texans, the 11th place team. 10th, I have the Bengals. 9th, I have the Raiders. 8th, I have the Browns. 7th, I have the Steelers. 6th, the Bills. 5th, the Colts. 4th, the Titans. 3rd, Patriots. 2nd place, the Chiefs. 1st place, the Ravens. In the NFC, In the 16th and last place spot, I have the Panthers. The Washington football team coming in 15th. At 14th, the New York Giants. 13th overall, the Detroit Lions. 12th overall, the Chicago Bears. 11th overall, the Arizona Cardinals. 10th overall, the Atlanta Falcons. 9th overall, the San Francisco 49ers. 8th overall, the Dallas Cowboys. Again, I think that's going to be the trigger for a lot of people. 7th, and just squeaking into the playoffs, the Seattle Seahawks. 6th, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5th, the Minnesota Vikings. 4th, the Philadelphia Eagles. 3rd, the LA Rams. 2nd, the Green Bay Packers. And 1st, the New Orleans Saints, which again leads me to the Ravens beating the Saints in the Super Bowl. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. This was great to get this off and out there. And it's now out there for everybody to say, oh, you didn't say that, if it's right. And you can go, oh, my God, you were terrible at this, when it becomes wrong. Because this is going to be Big Bad Brad's surefire predictions to be wrong. I did it. I started it a couple years ago. I do it all the time with fantasy before games. I'll do it again today. I apologize, today on Twitter. So when you hear it today, when you see it today on Twitter, you're going to be like, man, you suck at this, or man, you're good at this. So whichever way, it's not going to bother me because I already have my fantasy team. So if you do daily fantasy and you're listening to me, I don't know why, but if you want, I want a layman guy to do this, and that guy talking on Spreaker right now, or Spotify, or through this weird wind tunnel that I can hear, is going to be, it basically does it for me. So you're welcome for that. So thank you again. Remember, you're listening here, Spreaker.com/show/NotAClue podcast, Facebook.com/NotAClue podcast, on Twitter, @NotACluePod. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. First name of the channel, NotAClue, all one word. Second is podcast. Please follow us on Instagram @NotAClue podcast. There, I will close it out the same way CD does when he says, Wakanda forever, Black Lives Matter. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.